Today's topic is how to stay motivated. A lot of you have been asking this question to me, and I finally decided to do the video. But before we start on this video, to understand how to stay motivated, you also must know why are you not motivated. More about this after you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so that you get the notification of the new video. Hi, my name is Dr. Meghana Dikshit. I'm the author of the book You Matter and Brain and Performance Expert. So let's talk about how to stay motivated. And as I said, before you want to stay motivated, you must understand that why are you not motivated. Now, for you to understand about the motivation, the two things that are very common that the questions people ask me about is, why don't I feel all the time motivated? So let's be honest here. You are a human being, and a human being is not supposed to be all the time motivated unless you are on some substance. We all go through our biorhythms, we all go through our circadian rhythms. Our body goes through the cycles of emotions, of the physical energy, just like the nature. And that's the reason when there is motivation, there's also demotivation. So you will always have these cycles going on. So not all the time anybody is motivated. The only thing that you have in your control is when you're motivated, great. But when you're demotivated or when you're feeling low, how to reduce that cycle. How, the ability for you to bounce back again is something that you can hone, is something that you can learn. But if you expect yourself to be all the time motivated, then you are a robot and not a human being. The second thing that I want you to understand about motivation is there are two kinds of motivations. One is external motivation. External motivation could be money, could be fame, could be respect, could be your relationship, could be anything that is external that gives you motivation to achieve that. And then there is intrinsic motivation, which is your internal motivation, which is about you. What drives you? What makes you feel good about yourself and what you're doing? The thinking, the feelings that you have, that drives you, the value system that you have within you. What do you prioritize the most? What do you value the most? What you value the most is what you prioritize. If you value relationships and family, then you're going to prioritize them. So even if you are working, you're working for your family. Even if you're making more money, you're making for family. It'll clearly be your intrinsic motivation that will drive you to take those actions. Now that you've understood that you can't be always motivated and there are two kinds of motivations, now let's understand how to stay motivated. First thing first is, every time you have an external motivation, it probably can last for some time. And the moment things start getting overwhelming, or when you start feeling too much of stress, or too much toxicity in your environment, what happens is a lot of us go through toxic stress. Now, what's a toxic stress? See, all of us, motivation, all of us are looking for getting rid of stress. That's also impossible because stress is a part of our life, and a lot of times a good stress helps us to build our life. But when it turns toxic, like if there is a person, there is a situation, there's a challenge in your life, that kind of, is constant in your life. No matter how much you try to get rid of it, it keeps coming back to you. Suppose you are born in a family that there is a challenge going on. An ongoing challenge can ultimately result in toxic stress on you. And these toxic stress, which you cannot even run away from, or you cannot just shrug your hands from these kind of situations, that builds a lot of demotivation because you feel drained in your energy. You lose that motivation because at the end you see the end result is, this is not going to end. What am I fighting for? What am I driving for? This is not going to end. You see in future, it seems like it's like never ending situation. And then you experience the low drive. So are you going through any sort of a toxic stress? And if you are, let me know in the comment box. Let me see if I can help you to find a way to cope around the toxic stress so that you can stay motivated. Another reason you are probably demotivated is maybe you have too many things on your plate. You are so overwhelmed that how will I complete this? Where to begin? Where to end? You have no clue. There's so much happening in your life that you're so overwhelmed that it kind of puts you in the low motivation drive. Or there's a possibility that you don't have many things on your plate that interest you. Maybe these are all boring activities. Maybe these are so mundane that there is no excitement. There is no adventure in doing what you're doing, and that also can cause low motivation. And if you're doing the same thing again and again and again, because see, one of the human needs is to feel that excitement, to feel that adventure. And if you don't get it on the day-to-day basis, it's very difficult to sustain the motivation. If you're doing a lot for others and there is no scope for yourself, you're giving out so much that you're so exhausted, you're so tired, you hardly receive. At the end, you start feeling that burnout. You start feeling that you're doing too much and there is no self-care, there is no rest, there is no rejuvenation. In that case, what's going to happen is the drive to go for something. See, it's a human need. You want to feel love, you want to feel connection, you want to feel cared, you want to feel supported. And if you don't get that, if you don't feel that, then you're going to feel demotivated. Which one of these are you resonating with? Let me know in the comment box. What exactly is happening in your life out of the things that I shared with you? Probably these are the real reasons that you're feeling demotivated. Because you know what? Motivation comes from 4 hormones, majorly dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And these hormones are not released in your blood enough, through your brain, in your body, in your blood. You're going to feel demotivated. So motivation is not an external game. Motivation is an internal game. And a large part of these 4 hormones are released by the way you think and by the way you feel. And on the day-to-day basis, if you don't feel good, if you don't feel enthusiastic, if you don't feel excited, happy, then you're going to feel demotivated. A lot of people, like Gallup survey says that about 85% people in the world wake up unhappy. Imagine the number of people. Out of 7.5 billion people, 85% people wake up unhappy. That's a huge number of people, right? And that's the reason a lot of people today are demotivated. One of the other reasons you may be feeling demotivated, it could be a clinically mental health issues like depression, anxiety. And a lot of times, when you're not motivated and when you tell people that you don't feel like doing something, unfortunately, our society and culture shrugs it off and says that, hey, you're lazy, you don't want to do it. Come on, get up and do it. That's the worst thing that you can do if you're constantly feeling demotivated. Rather than looking at it clinically, rather than looking at it from a professional point of view, if you just feel that you're lazy or someone tags you, criticizes you saying that you're not working hard enough, it can slip you, it can further deteriorate your condition. So if you feel the long-standing not motivated feeling that's there inside you, my suggestion is seek help. This is extremely critical for you to understand that is there something clinically going on? Is there a mental health issue that you're going on, which is, of course, could be mental health issue could also stem from one of the reasons that I shared with you. If they're too long in your space, a toxic stress per se can push somebody into depression or anxiety. It's a possibility. But you got to diagnose, you got to see what exactly is happening in your space. There's also a possibility that some of you may be dealing with some loss or grieving on something. A lot of times the grief that happens in your space for if you lose somebody or some loved one in your life is unexpressed love. And when you have so much love inside you which is unexpressed, it automatically pulls you down. That guilt and that shame takes over. And that is the reason a lot of people are demotivated. Losing an opportunity, losing a person, losing anything in your life that's precious to you. It's a possibility that all of these are contributing factors to you feeling demotivated. So just by saying that, I want to feel motivated, rather than that, I would really urge you to look deep. Because you see, you're not born demotivated, right? Every child, if you see, they're so playful, they're so happy, they're enjoying. They're always yes, right? When a child is there, you ask a child anything or say anything, the child is always there. Yeah, I'm ready for it. Then what happened on the way? What shaped up your life? that is also resulting the way you look at your life. A lot of times demotivation comes from the space of lack of emotional understanding, lack of dealing with your own emotional suppressions or emotional traumas. And unless and until you go deeper and check these things, you will always come back to watch some video like this to feel motivated. It's a truth bomb. I know that you want to come back to my channel and watch the videos, but I want to tell you this. Don't watch these videos to feel motivated, because it's going to be temporary, and you know it, right? It's going to be temporary. How long would you want to waste your time not looking at what truly is bothering you, and that's causing lack of motivation? A lot of times when people say they are not motivated, my answer to them is, as a child, if you were motivated, what has happened in your past that you haven't dealt in your life, that has been causing the episodes of demotivation. So find out that thing, those experiences that happened, that slowly leaked that energy, that slowly removed that space of enthusiasm, and it kind of replaced it with demotivation. Did you feel that you did not achieve something? Because a lot of times when people don't achieve their goals, or when they make choices that do not result into the specific results that they are looking for, when they start getting to regret cycle, when they start getting into the guilt cycle, that's where the destructive cycle of motivation and demotivation begins. And then people want to be on that soda, but it's like a soda bottle, where you start jumping that, okay, today I have motivation, so I'm going to do this, tomorrow I don't have motivation. So it's like a cyclical pattern that goes on. High and depression, high and depression, high and depression. Are you going through that cycle? Any of this resonates with you, let me know in the comment box. Which one is it for you? And now let's start understanding steps that you can start getting into the motivation zone. Every time you feel demotivated, make sure that you follow these steps and get back on track. But also remember, this is not a one-time thing. This is an everyday thing. The more you follow these steps every single day, the more you're going to feel motivated. First, look for clarity. If you don't have defined goals for the day, for your project, for a large part of your life, you're not going to feel motivated, because you'll be aimless, you'll be unproductive. You will just kind of flow along the way, like you wouldn't know which direction to go for. I like to divide my goals in 8 specific areas. Personal growth. How am I growing in my life every single day? How am I becoming my best version? About my health. What do I eat? How do I exercise? How do I take care of my mental, emotional health? My money. Where can I make more money from? How can I grow my money? My income streams, my passive income. My career. How am I growing in my businesses? What's exactly happening there? How am I getting more people to teach what I'm doing, and how can I help them change their lives? How can I add value to more people's life so their life changes, and in turn my life changes? The 5th area that I work on is my time. Everybody has 24 hours, right? So what somebody is doing in those 24 hours for them to stay so motivated and productive? I start looking at my time, because it's an expensive commodity. I look at how I am spending my 24 hours. I also plan my contribution and charity. These are goals which are very important. Understand something, a human being is always very fulfilled and happy when you're helping somebody else. So then setting the goals on helping someone else is also very important. Then I love to set goals in my relationships. My personal relationships, my professional relationships, my social relationships, and making sure that I have goals set in all these areas. The last area that I set goals in fun. I do plan my fun. Not what I want to do particularly in that fun, but where do I want to take break? When do I want to take break? Where would I like to go? How long the break is going to be? How often am I going to take it? It's daily, monthly, quarterly, yearly goals in fun area as well. Now, when I split my goals into 8 different areas, it gives me a clear understanding of what are my priorities, how they are interlinked, and how my life is going to shape up in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, next 3 years, and next 5 years. And when I have this shaping up done, it just makes me feel great because it just gives me so much clarity. Now, second point is, a lot of times you may not have every detail ready with you. You may not have the clarity of everything. Like, I don't know after 5 years what exactly I'm going to do in that space. But it's like a ballpark figure. It's like you have a kind of an idea of where you want to be. So even if you don't have the complete clarity, begin. That's my second step. You start. Don't wait. Don't stop for things to get perfect. Avoid perfection. Just start with something. Because your version 1 is going to be better than version none. So when you start something, when you take action, you start feeling motivated. Motivation does not come from planning. Motivation comes from decision making and taking actions. Third step is look for inspiration. See, every goal that you want to achieve in your life, there is somebody already who has achieved it. So look for inspiration in people, in things, in situations, in books, in podcasts, in masterclasses, in workshops, in mentors, and invest your time and money in all of these things so that you start getting inspired to get a better life. Find a community or environment of people, those who are growth oriented, those who are constantly motivated to achieve more. When you stay with these people, you automatically start vibrating at a different frequency. Once a mentor of mine had shared this with me, and he said, if you are the smartest person in a room, then you are in the wrong room. That means you have to find environments, those who are better than you. Even if you need to pay for those environments, it would be worth the investment. Trust me on that. Find communities that can actually help you to build your life better. The next one is to celebrate your small achievements. A lot of times I see people, and including me, I was like this many years back, that I used to wait for something big to happen and then do the celebration. And in the bargain, I would just do so much hard work and I would just get exhausted. And that big thing would never come. Because my perception about the big thing was like, if I'll make 10 crores, then it's a big thing. Oh, if I'm making 10 lakhs, it's not a big thing. That's not true. Accomplishment is accomplishment. A small baby, when he takes the baby steps, is an accomplishment. Same goes with you. Every small achievement, and look for those achievements. Every day, look for smallest of your achievements and, celebrate. Don't feel it's frivolous or don't feel it's childish that I have become big. A lot of times when I tell people, my students, that, celebrate your accomplishments, and they say, but I haven't done anything like that, and it's such a small thing. If I celebrate, people will just laugh at me. Hello, you know what? Let people laugh. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You want to rewire your brain. Celebrating is the best way to do so. The next step is writing your gratitude list. A lot of times you feel demotivated because you haven't hit that certain number of subscribers, or you haven't reached that money, or you haven't reached that big house, or you haven't got this car. We measure our level of success based on what we already have, or where have we reached in a certain period of time in comparison to our people around us, right? And we start comparing ourselves, and that makes us feel very demotivated. To kind of come out of this zone, if you start writing the things that you're grateful for, it would really, really help you to stay motivated. Feel good about yourself that, you could do so much. You have already so much. And the last one is, I would like you to contribute in someone's life. Go help somebody. Make sure that you find at least one person to help. It could be anything. You can give some money, you can give some, shoulder to cry, you can be with that person, just listen to them, you can pay them a compliment, or you can simply write them a thank you note. When you bring smile on somebody else's face, believe it or not, you do feel motivated. Let me know in the comment box which one of this is you're going to test and try, and come back and tell me as well. Quickly, Click on that like button if you really like this video. Share it with at least 10 people in your group. And make sure that you come back and comment and tell me which of this worked for you to stay motivated.